Doing it again. All right. So, hello everyone. My name is Ashley, and I am a writing and study skills tutor with the ILC. And today we're going to talk about how to maximize your organizational skills with the technology that you already use. Oop, I need to turn my laser off. Okay, so first, I want to say welcome to our session. It's really something that people don't talk about a lot, but staying organized digitally is going to help you so much this semester. So, your first step is just showing up here. So, congratulations. We hope that after today, you can walk away with some strategies that'll help you stay on top of your work, your school, and your home by using the tools that are already at your disposal. So we're going to talk about how to name your files, how to organize those files, um, some digital calendars that can help you stay organized, and some notes, which Sarah will get more in depth with OneNote, a really, really great platform that's provided to you through your Microsoft 365 from the college. And we're going to look at some to-do lists and all those kinds of things to get you on track. But first, just for a few words, and I've already loved how much you responded, so you can always unmute and talk. But if you want to, just tell me in a few words why you were interested in coming to the session today.
Guys, you are being so polite, and I love the raised hands, but just go ahead and just
Yeah,
unmute
just,
and talk to
yeah.
us.
Learn how
Thank
to use it because I don't know how to use that much technology.
Okay, thank you. I hope that you get some actionable steps after today. Who else has their hand raised? Looks like Nathan. That was Nathan, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I also have my hand raised.
Okay. David, why did you come to today's session?
Um, well, personally, I love organizing, so I wanted to
Mm.
learn how to organize even more. I actually said earlier in the like I don't know earlier today when we were in the calls,
Mm-hmm.
I was organizing my email into folders and stuff. So
Yes, yes. Email folders are so purposeful, and it's something that a lot of
mhm,
people don't do, but I have to have stuff in emails because I have multiple jobs and responsibilities. So folders are essential with email for me so I can find things quickly. That's a great point.
yeah, I even separated my computer into two like halves. So my one half is like for personal use, and then the one I'm on now is just for school and work and whatnot.
I
So,
love that. I have two separate logins for my personal and my
mhm,
work on my computer, and that really does help keep things separate because we all
yeah.
have so much to do. You got to keep it together. And Gabriel in the chat said he wants to brush up on, or they want to brush up on organizational skills. They have already learned and maybe some new ones. And Alexandra says her organization skills need work. So thank you for everyone for sharing. And if I keep talking, you can interrupt me, please. But I'm glad that everybody here kind of wants to get some tips and tricks, and I hope we can do that for you. So, now more than ever, we are spending a lot of time on our digital platforms and spaces. So just like our physical ones, which I changed my background so you can't see, but just like our physical ones, from time to time, we need to make sure that our digital spaces are organized and easy to navigate. And when I was growing up, my mother used to like wake me up at like 7 a.m. on a Saturday by like coming in my room with the vacuum and then making me do all these chores. And we would spend the whole Saturday cleaning the house from top to bottom, and it would take all day. And so I approached like digital organization the same way. Like I'm going to sit down and put everything in a folder all in one day of the week. And that just became unsustainable for me. So now I have set aside certain days to like clear my inbox or to organize my Google Drive or organize my OneDrive and things like that. So don't think that you can just do everything in one fell swoop. You have to find a system that's manageable for you that you're going to be able to keep up. So I recommend certain days for certain tasks. Um, just like um, it's going to take us time, and it's a never-ending process that requires regular maintenance. So hopefully you can take away some systems and processes that are going to help you to make things easy to file, like David mentioned earlier, easy to find, and something that's reusable. And then Sarah, just let me know if there's any interesting conversation that I'm missing in the chat. But the first.
So for right now, the only thing I'll add is that a lot of people are saying we're really glad that we're here and we are ready to learn. Their minds are open. It's an exciting time.
Awesome. And I do want to say that, developing a system that works for you takes time, and you might not always get it right. And you might find that something I tell you just doesn't work for you, or you might find that another way does. So just keep an open mind that while you're trying to figure out your system, take what you like and what you don't. It's okay. So the first thing I want to talk about is naming your file. I collaborate with a lot of people through my job, and there's so many times where I'm looking for a file and I don't know what the person named it because we didn't have a filing system that was kind of uniform for everybody. So I'm searching, texting like, hey, what did you name this file, or looking through my recent folder. So the good thing I would suggest when you're naming your files is to keep it simple. Consider the future you that is going to need to access the information. Something that really helps me is to include a date on the file. So like this presentation, like different versions of it, I have named it different dates. So I know, okay, this is the version that I just finished. So that helps me make sure that it's the most recent one. Start by being a descriptive phrase or the project name. A lot of times when we meet with students who work with us through writing and study skills tutoring, it'll just say document 1, document 2, document 3, like they don't name it what the assignment is. And then later on, they're like, what even is this? So make sure you put a descriptive title that's the name of the assignment. Again, the version number can kind of help you easily track it. So like this is rough draft 1, rough draft 2, so you know the changes that you make. And I know it's easy just to keep doing things on the same document, but a lot of things auto save. So if you really want to see your progress through several drafts of an assignment, I suggest you make a copy and update it with the revised version number. And so this will all kind of help you make sure it's easier to find later. Name a file as soon as you create them. Don't let it sit there as document 3 for 3 days and then you don't remember when you need to come back for it. And then make sure you're as descriptive and specific as possible, because that's going to help you when you need to find it later. So if you had to name a rhetorical analysis essay, you had to write it about the letter from Birmingham jail about Martin Luther King, and it was due on September 15th. What would you name it based on the stuff that we just talked about? And you can put that in the chat, or you can just shout it out. Or if you have any file naming techniques that you think work really well for you, just let us know, because I'm always taking notes. I have a little handy dandy notepad here like Blue's Clues. So tell me what you would name your file, and if there's any naming tips and tricks that you have that you want to share with everyone. I'm not used to having wait time again.
Nice. So Gretchen says just call it rhetorical essay. Rachel says civil rights. Kaylin is saying MLK with 9/15, so with a due date in there. I personally, I would put like the title of my class if it was ENG 1101 or something, so I know what it's for.
Nathan said jailbreak. That'll be memorable. And that'll also make your teacher laugh, I think, when they're opening the file as well. But yeah, I think that's a really good point, Sarah, is putting in the class there specifically too. I like what Gabriel said, because I said the date, but putting the week of the class is really important, because I've noticed in Blackboard as well, a lot of your classes are organized by week 1, week 2, week 3. So that's really smart. I like that. Someone has their hand raised. I can't see who it is, but feel free to jump in.
Yeah, I learned when I was doing computer programming and stuff to not put spaces in things, put dashes.
Yes.
So when you go to search for a file later on, it returns everything you need.
That's a great point. And there's one time when I used to try to put slashes in my file names, but Word won't let you do that. But dashes are great. Thank you. I'm going to add that to my list to so when I talk about this in the future, I can have that tip there. Very good. Thank you. And I like the week X as well. So you guys have some great suggestions. I appreciate it. So now I also told you earlier I collaborate with a lot of people, and I have a really bad problem of making a bunch of folders. I really like folders, and I like to color code them. But I do think folders are necessary, and that's kind of what we were talking about at the beginning. I forgot. See, Joseph said rhetorical analysis essay 915, and then put it in a folder with the class name. Joseph, it's like you knew where my slides were going. Very good. It is a pain to find a file in the terminal when it has spaces. Oh, that's an interesting point. Yeah, thank you. It is. It really, really is. So I'm glad you said that. I don't think a lot of people know that. And I think actually when I start the year with my students, they don't know how to name stuff. So I'm definitely going to bring up all of this. So thank you. So first, I want you to kind of think minimal, but naming folders is daunting. So name them strategically. I say get to the point. Like Sarah was saying, if it's your English 111 class, put English 111. Distinguish between things that you're working on in an archive folder. So I know sometimes people have like tons of things that they did last year, right? And you want to kind of start fresh. So I'll do a big folder dump into like a 2021, 22 folder, get it out the way. And so I can start clean with the fall semester folder. And then under that, I would probably have a folder for each class. And like Gabriel suggested, weekly folders are a good way to organize your class folders, or you could do it where you have like projects, essays, or homework. So you can divide it a number of ways, but you do need to kind of have a system so you know where everything is. And the last thing I'll say on that is kind of, don't go folder crazy. Like you don't need a folder within a folder within a folder. So think about 3 to 5 steps. It shouldn't take you that long to get to the actual document. If it's taking you more than 3 to 5 steps, then you probably have too many folders in your system. But to the point, the same naming thing we talked about, files, works really well with folders. And I'm loving all the tips that you guys have. So any tips about folders, I say put them in the chat. I know that Google Drive does, where you can change the color of your folders. And I'm pretty sure you can also do that in Microsoft OneDrive too. So that's another way to have a visual combined with the naming of your folders to make sure you stay organized. Stephen, did you want to talk now, or did you have your hand up from before?
Oh, sorry, it was from before.
Okay, I just want to make sure I gave you space. So we kind of already talked about this, but if there are any other tips and tricks that you've learned so far about naming files and folders that you want to share, feel free to do that. Like I'm walking away from it with adding on the no space and adding on the week instead of the date, if that helps with how your class is organized. And you can kind of take that from what your syllabus looks like and how your professor has things organized in Blackboard. And it might not be a bad idea to have some of them talk about naming files and folders, because I've spent a few tutoring sessions with some of you all trying to get to the right document in the first place that you need for an assignment. So this is something that no matter if you're a student, teacher, instructor, people can take a few minutes and make their folders a little more neat. If no one has any questions, and I do want to add, I'm going to add that about email too, that your emails should also have folders, because that was a good point that I do, but I just didn't think to include it in this presentation. So thank you for that suggestion as well. Sarah?
The one thing that I'll add is that often when you're getting resources like off of Blackboard, they save to your download folder. And your download folder is not a permanent space. You should put that somewhere else, like put it into a permanent folder on your computer or put it into a OneDrive folder. But like downloads is like an Etch-a-Sketch. Like it can go away at any time.
Yes, Sarah, that's a great point. And We're going to talk about why storing things in the cloud is really helpful, but thank you so much for that suggestion as well, because it does just go straight to your downloads. So you do need to move it. It doesn't need to stay there. That is a great, great point. I'm going to write that down to add. I'm glad we are all helping and sharing with each other. It's been really great so far. You guys are an excellent audience. So let's talk about calendars. Tell me in a few words in the chat what you currently use. Do you use a digital calendar? And tell me what calendar that is. Do you have a planner? I meant to bring mine. It's across the room, so I'm not going to get it. But do you have a digital calendar? Do you have a planner? What do you use to keep track of your deadlines? Or if you don't have any system, just let me know that in the chat. Gabriel has a large calendar on a wall hanging calendar. So you guys are going to make me buy this wall calendar that I saw at Target. It was only $12, but I was like, no, I have a planner. I have a digital calendar. I'm not going to buy this calendar. But now that everybody's saying wall, that's how easily influenced I am. So I should stay off Instagram. You use a planner, Google Calendar, and Planner. So I also see Planner and I also see Google Calendar. So there are a couple of calendar systems that you can use. Planner, a bullet journal, and a phone calendar. I tried to do bullet journaling for a while and I did it, but it was like when it first came out, so there weren't that many like actual bullet journals. And I wish I had bought the actual bullet journal because it is great because bullet journaling kind of incorporates your notes and things like that too. So that's a great system. I use Google Calendar and Google Assistant, and I use iCal Planner. So no one is busier than you all, right? A lot of us are juggling multiple jobs. A lot of us are juggling multiple classes, multiple personal responsibility, whether that's caring for a loved one, whether they're your child or aging parent or sibling or whatever. You have more responsibilities than just what you come to school for. And so we really think that using a digital calendar or a planner or a combination of the two is going to help you. Digital calendars are a great way to make sure you don't miss anything on your to-do list. I have a lot of appointments in Teams. I get a notification 15 minutes before everything I have to do, which is wonderful. So you know that you have things coming up and you don't miss appointments. So you can set up things as recurring. So if you have classes that you want to put in your calendar, you're like, oh wait, I have to log on in 15 minutes. And it kind of just gives you a mental notification that you need to go there. First things first, pick a system that works for you, which I think everybody has. So if you have an iPhone, you can use that default calendar. If you want to use stuff that's within your Wake Tech system, I suggest using Outlook because it syncs really well with everything that you already have here that's free. It syncs really well with your Wake Tech email. If you are meeting with us in the ILC online, it syncs really well with Teams. So I think whatever works best for you, but just want to plug that your Microsoft Calendar is going to fit really nicely with the systems that we have in place here. And finally, you can use Google Calendar, which tends to be the most user-friendly. Like everybody has a Gmail or a Google account, so it's really easy to navigate. So it depends on, do you want it to work well with your classes or do you want it to be something that's user-friendly? Whenever you do decide on the calendar, I want to suggest again that color is really important, that, personal events are green and school classes are purple and work events are red, or however you want to differentiate, but just so you can see how you're spending the majority of your time. And it helps you differentiate between your various tasks. You could even have colored coded systems for the classes and the homework that you complete. So, like this class is green. So you might want to divide it even more into that. So just think about how color could help you kind of stay on track with what you need to do. Additionally, consider creating days for specific tasks. Like I was saying earlier, like don't wait until Sunday to try to cram everything in your planner and do all of your homework. So Monday might be a really good day for you to work on your psychology class, and Tuesday and Thursday might be a good day for you to put your work for your math or your English. And so also you kind of consider which days you're going to work based on when you have that class. So if the class is on Monday, you might want to do stuff on the Tuesdays and Thursdays. so that you have time so you're not overwhelming yourself with too much information. And finally, don't be afraid to do both. Like I said, I have a digital calendar and a paper planner, because the paper planner, writing it down, is going to help you memorize. And just remember, it's a different activation system when you write things down. And I think we've learned that through the pandemic, because everybody wanted to do everything digitally, and we forgot how important it was just to write things down. So don't be afraid to use both of those things. You just kind of have to figure out what system works best for you, stick to it. I'm a big, big proponent of setting alarms in my phone. Once I listened to a podcast and she said set an alarm to go to bed, I was like, wow, it changed my life. Because I'll sit up, right, I'll sit up till 11, 12 o'clock and not realize it. But then if my alarm goes off and says it's time to go to bed, that kind of gives me that signal like, hey, now if I choose to keep scrolling on my phone, then I kind of am asking to be groggy and dreary the next day. So just think about that. Sarah, I think you were going to say something.
Yeah, so I recently came across this idea online, and it's the idea of a scary hour. So if there are things that you're just afraid of, like you have to call the dentist, or you have to make an appointment, or you need to answer 12 emails and it's just too much, you schedule 1 hour and it's your scary hour, and you do the scary things. And then you don't have to worry about them anymore, and you have just a specific box to put them in.
I'm going to write that down too, because I have lots of scary hours, because I was trying to think of, get all my appointments in before the school year starts. So I love that. Could tackle some things that you just are putting off, because if you don't, you get in bed at night and then they all rush to your head, and then all of a sudden you have such a big sense of urgency with things that you could have taken care of earlier. So I love that. Thank you. Alyssa says she uses a similar technique. I assign colors to each of my classes, and then she checks them off with color pencils in her planner. I love that, Alyssa. So the color pencils, I'm assuming, correspond to the colors that you already have in your calendar. That's a really great way to keep track of everything. I love that. I use these Stabilo pencils, and when Sarah starts, I'll go find them. They are the best pencils I've ever used before. They were fairly cheap. I found them at Paper Source. And I love the different colors, and it's just really vibrant. So thank you for that. That's really great. So I wanted to talk about Google Keep, and I don't know about you, but like literally right now, I'm looking at my other screen and I have 10 tabs open, but also in my brain, I have even more tabs open. I'm constantly looking things up and like, oh yeah, I want to talk about that. So my Notes app is really, really full of different things, but Google Keep is a little bit better than a Notes app just because it transfers onto your calendar. So it's a free note-taking service from Google. If anybody uses Google Keep in the chat, you can give me a thumbs up or a yes to let me know that it's a system that you already like. Think of it as like digital sticky notes. You can add tasks and subtasks. You can use pins to have important tasks on top. And the thing I like about Google Keep, as opposed to just having a billion things in my Notes app, is that Google Keep also has the color coding. So if you wanted to keep the same colors, like, oh, I looked up, this article was for, oh, I'm going to talk about that one next. Oh my gosh, you guys are great. Google Keep has the colors that I love. So it does correspond to, like, if this note is for English 111, my English 111 notes are all pink on my calendar, so I'm going to make this note pink, so I also know that it corresponds to that class. So I've been talking about color a lot, but I want to Google Keep. That's the main reason that I like it more than the others, just because you can have color. But I'm going to put this video in the chat for later because it's kind of too long for us to do on our own. But if you wanted to know, if you wanted to use Google Calendar and Google Keep together, this video is going to help you see how to do that. But if you don't, I don't want to waste your time. But it's a good way, to basically, just so that the calendar, it's another way to keep your tasks there, your links there. So like if you were planning on working on an assignment and you put your Google Doc or your Word document there, you could just click on it and work on it straight from your calendar. So that's the main reason I wanted to show you that. As I don't want to pronounce your name wrong, as Miss Rosario said, Microsoft To Do is also really great. It used to be this other application, then Microsoft bought it and made it a lot cooler. And the reason that I think Microsoft To Do might be a little better for you as a Wake Tech student is because it's going to, again, work really well with your apps that you already have here at Wake Tech. So, Sarah, did you have something to say?
Oh, no, sorry.
Okay. So it works well with your Teams, your Word, your Outlook. I like it. The My Day is where you manage it. And then again, the thing that Sarah is going to get into later, but you can share a lot of these things with other people. So I know that a lot of you, especially, and I feel like the communications class, when I hear a lot of students have to do group work, and group work is a pain for my high school students. So I know in college, getting people together is even more cumbersome when you all have different work schedules, especially if you're taking an online course. So I did suggest to a student to send their group Microsoft To Do list, and everybody got it done. You can kind of see where people were with it. So that was a really fun aspect of that. So again, if you want everything to kind of sync up really well together, I suggest that you use Microsoft To Do. Let me know if you have any questions. I'm going to send you this video as well so we don't have to spend time to watch it, because again, if you're like me, you probably watch YouTube anyway. I think YouTube is like really good to watch when you're like doing chores. Like I'll just have like a YouTube video up in the background and I'll be learning about how to organize. There's a bunch of people on YouTube who are really into aesthetics and organizing, so I found a bunch of cool videos. So I'll just have you can do that later while you're setting up your calendar. So if you had to take a poll, and I know this isn't as polarizing as Apple or Android, but based on the things we've talked about and what works best for you, would you say you're a Google person or a Microsoft person? Just so I can kind of see where we are. I've been trying to shift to become more of a Microsoft person after spending a lot of time with my colleagues here who know so much about Microsoft. I feel like there's a little bit of a barrier of entry with Microsoft, just if you don't know the systems. But I have felt like Microsoft can do a lot more once you learn the tips and tricks. I feel like it's a little bit more expansive than some of the Google offerings. But if you're good with the basics, then Google is for you, which most of the time I'm good with the basics. I actually see a lot of Microsoft people. Outlook does have some bugs sometimes, Alexander. I agree with that. I use Google more, but I might like Microsoft. Microsoft is a tiny bit corrupt. I'll have to get some more information on that from you, but I see some Google too. So again, whatever system is going to be most manageable for you, most user-friendly for you, the one that's going to help you keep organized the most is the one that I suggest that you go with. And then if there's an app that we talked about that you want to try to learn a little bit more about, let me know. Like I know the more time I've spent on To Do, the more I prefer it to Google Keep. But the thing that keeps drawing me back to Google Keep is the color coding. I just love to be able to do that. The visual aspect of seeing everything organized, you just can't, like, it's nothing better than that. The only Microsoft product I have is the Xbox. I am not a gamer. My brother was a very big gamer growing up, and my mom would like make me play video games with my brother, but I never really was good at it. But I know that it's something that's great. I know he has I don't even know when to say the last Xbox I played, because it's probably one from many years ago, but I do know that Xboxes are really popular. We wanted to talk to you a little bit too about using OneDrive. How many people currently save their work for school on OneDrive? OneDrive, if you do just say yes in the chat, OneDrive is one of the best ways to store your files through your WakeTech Office 365. And remember, you get all of these Microsoft Word, Outlook, PowerPoint, OneNote, To Do. All of those are included in your WakeTech email, so you get that free. So there's a few reasons why I think sometimes using this is better than saving it to your computer. And the first reason is that you can access it from anywhere. So I am really busy in the morning. Sometimes I will not grab my laptop. It'll be sitting right here on this stand, and I'll be driving down the road. I'm like, oh no, I don't have my laptop with me. So it's easy. Like if I have to use someone else's computer or borrow one, I'm like, okay, I can still access it from anywhere or multiple devices. So it's on my phone, it's on my computer, it's on my iPad. The second thing is if you lose your device, if it just crashes, which back when I was in college, it did that happen to me. I lost a very big paper one time because my device just like literally stopped working. And like let me plug it in, let me take it to the Geek Squad. None of that happened. So I did lose a really big paper in college. But, I had crammed anyway. I had, my forehead is big. So I had a lot of information still here. So I was able to pull it out. But if I had had OneDrive back in the day, it would have been a lot better. We used to use flash drives, which, anyway. So also the big reason I think you should use OneDrive is that you can share and collaborate. So you are sharing with your professors, with your tutors, and your classmates. I know a lot of the times I'll leave notes in the comments of a document when we're working in a session so the student knows to go back. Sometimes we look at the professor's comments, and those are only really accessible when you do stuff in OneDrive. So I'm gonna stop sharing. I feel like you guys all said you knew how to access OneDrive, but you log in with your email and you can see everything. And I know that I wanted to say I've focused a lot on mobile access, but it's really important to access all of the features through OneDrive by using the web version of it. So I just want to re-emphasize that. Gabriel says I use Google Drive and sometimes my native file manager, but may consider OneDrive. I use Google Drive too. I think OneDrive is great for school purposes. And I want to say, and now I'm like confused because you guys said Microsoft was corrupt, but I want to say I've heard much more, especially within our organization, that when you do use OneDrive, the files and things are more secure than Google Drive. And I don't know how true that was or if that was just something that someone told me to get me to abandon Google. But I do think that sharing files in OneDrive and having them there is a little bit safer. So to review, like Sarah said, clear your download folder. Also clear your desktop. I know a lot of things get crowded on your desktop, and I'm going to show you mine in a second. You're going to be like, I'm planning to clean it a little bit later. It is more secure. Okay, I didn't make that up. Delete your downloads file, like Sarah said. Organize your documents into folders as much as you can. Try to get to inbox 0 as often as you can. Unsubscribe from emails that are spam or things that you signed up to get 15% off at Old Navy and now you don't use it anymore.
Ashley, you're reading my mail.
I know Old Navy I have unsubscribed from Old Navy so many times, and I don't know why I still get it. I'm like, I don't want these pants for $15, but I probably do. But unsubscribe from things that no longer serve you because it just clutters up your email. Check for and install your updates regularly. Your stuff is only going to work when you have things updated as much as possible. So if you start running into some issues, make sure your computers, your web browsers, everything is up to date. Delete duplicates. I know that's something that happens to me. Organize your apps, delete old notes. When you're trying to get organized, I suggest turning off some notifications, especially when you're in the zone, some work-life balance. Also, don't put, when you have your email on your phone, it's convenient, but you might not want to read an email from your professor that says you have to change your whole paper at 9 p.m. So consider, turning off notifications and only getting them when you click in the application if that's something that bothers you. And finally, I would say use OneDrive and don't forget about the web version of these tools. And as Sarah goes through her presentation, her portion of the presentation, I'm going to be walking through it as well. So we'll be able to see some things with OneDrive. And if you have any questions about that, let me know. But I hope you were able to learn something. The biggest thing I would say is just find a system that works for you and stick with it. And if you have a setback, that's with like anything like exercising or eating healthy or anything like that, staying organized is the same way. So if you have a setback, the sooner you get back on the right track, the better. Don't beat yourself up about it, but just, if you're doing a little bit more than you were doing before, then you're on the right track. And so I hope that that was helpful. And my name is Ashley, and I'm online every day but Sunday. So if you would like to schedule a follow-up appointment with me to go over any of these things, please let me know.
Awesome. So like Ashley said, my name is Sarah, and I'm also an online tutor. And one of the things that I want to share with you guys is an application that I knew nothing about. I didn't know much about OneNote at all until last semester or last year. And it changed my life, and it has made me a much more confident tutor, and I take notes on every single session that I do with students, and I'm able to share that with them. And so it's just really quite interesting. The first thing I want to ask you guys though is, are you on your phone? Are you on a laptop? Just tell me in the chat while I'm getting this presentation pulled up. Are you right now? Are you on your phone? Or are you on a laptop? Gotcha.
Ooh, lots of laptop people.
Okay, cool. So what I would like you to do on your laptop is to push that Windows button and then type in 1N. It should get you to the OneNote app, which is what this bit of the presentation is all about. So this is tips and tricks for organizing your notes better. Oh, but I think there is also a OneNote for Mac. It's available, but you can also just use the web app version from your student account. Awesome. Okay, cool. Thank you, David. So here's the spiel. And again, guys, if you have any questions or concerns, please just tell me. Here we go. So the thing I want to tell you is that with OneNote, you can keep all of your notes in one place, and you can access them on all your devices. Notes are automatically stored in the cloud, and so you never lose a note because you forgot to save it. Plus, you can easily share it with your friends and family, whether or not they have OneNote. So today's goals. The first thing we're going to do is explore the capabilities of OneNote. I'm going to share with you what I have learned. I'm definitely not a master. I just have been using it for a year, but I really enjoy it. And once you've explored those capabilities, we're going to use that for you to create at least one notebook for this semester. So you're going to walk away with here with an organizational tool all set up. Cool. My OneNote's on my laptop. Awesome. Tremendous. So there are 13 steps, 14 steps. And step 0, though, is how to get to OneNote. So I think if you guys haven't done this yet, on your desktop, you can push the Windows key and search for it. But if you are if it's not installed on your machine, that's fine. You can just log into your SharePoint account right here. Ooh. And click on the waffle and then come down to create, and you're going to create a OneNote. If you have done this already, give me a thumbs up. We're just going to create a new notebook. So Ashley, if you want to share your screen, you're good. All right, she's done it. And guys, I definitely don't want to rush you, but nice. Thanks, Stephen. Tremendous. So what we're going to do now is add a notebook. Awesome. and you're going to create a new notebook. Now, guys, you can create a notebook for each class if you want to, or you could set up like school and home and work if you want to. It's really up to you. This is kind of a canvas for you to paint on. Personally, I like to create a notebook for each semester. So it's like fall 2021, but you do you.
Is my screen big enough?
I think so. I think we're good.
Okay. Okay.
Doing good. I'm just going to try and get back to this presentation. There we go. So, we said we're going to make an organizing tool. And now if anyone has not gotten to the creating notebook stage, please give me a shout and we'll get you there. I don't want you to be left in the dirt. Okay, David, what's going on? You're downloading the software?
Okay, I downloaded it. It's completely different, so I'm just using the online version. Can you help me use that really quick?
Winner, love it. So OneNote is kind of like an old school trapper keeper. You have notebooks, and inside of a notebook, you have a section, and inside of the section, you have pages. So it's like that 5-star notebook that your mom would never let you buy. She wanted you to do the Walmart Buddy one instead, right? It's a notebook that has sections, and inside of the section, there are pages. So here, we have different notebooks set up for school and work.
Wait, so how do you see that?
So when you, oh, Ashley's got you.
Oh, sorry, I wasn't looking at that.
That's quite all right. So you're going to push the waffle, and then it's create OneNote.
Hold up. Where? There.
Okay. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th one down.
It's not showing up. That is not showing up at all.
You may have to add it or click on all apps. Do you see all apps?
Yeah, it's a different organized thing.
Okay.
Okay, I got it. So
amazing. So good.
So create and then what?
And then you can title it however you would like. I would default to like fall 22, or something like that.
Okay.
And so you're going to click on add notebook. So again, in life, it might be school, home, and work. But as a student, and then once you have your notebook, you're going to add sections. So in your regular life, you can, in the web app, they appear listed vertically, and in the desktop app, they're listed horizontally across the top. But these are just different categories or tabs. So if you're organizing your home life, you might have quick notes and entertainment, or you can always add a section. Like I have a notebook that has over 50 sections because it was the students I was working with, and each one got their own little section. But that was fine. Since you're a student, maybe you wanted to create a notebook that has sections for each class, like psychology, calculus, poetry, that kind of thing. Again, the thing about OneNote that I love is that it's crazy flexible. It can be whatever you want it to be. But, oh, David, I'm so glad that you've got it. But with that amount of flexibility, yours isn't going to look like anybody else's. It's just going to be yours. So again, like if we were just doing a default one, it would be fall 22, and then I would make sections for each course that I was taking. Ashley, how you doing on sections?
I've just added the one for appointments. I was trying to think of other stuff I could add.
Maybe workshops? I don't know.
Yes. I do need to, yes. That's awesome.
Okay, cool. So now inside of each section, okay, wait, guys, this is step number 2, and I know I can get excited and go too fast. Any questions at this point? Not right now. Okay, we're going to keep going. Step 3, So inside of each section, the next division is called a page. So like a sheet of paper inside of a binder, it's called a page. But what's great, or what's a little sus, is that pages can have sub-pages. So there's like another level of organization. So for example, if we're going back to that person who's organizing their home life, in their home notebook, under the section entertainment, you can have these pages like books I want to read, movies I want to watch, maybe games I want to play. And so those are separate pages, and you can always just add another page right here. So for me, inside of that fall 2022 math class, I might put a page that is week 1 or a page that is week 2. And if that's how I'm going to organize my life. Or if you wanted to have a page that was for homework set and a page that was for test prep. Like, again, it's flexible. It can be whatever you need it to be. All right. So in your notebook, you have sections, and then inside of a section, you have pages. Any questions about this, my friends? Yeah, David, what's up?
How do you rename a page?
Oh, good question. It's a right click, and then it comes down as a drop down option, rename.
Mine does not say rename. Oh wait, unless maybe.
Maybe it's a double click.
Yeah, I think I was clicking on the title and it let me change it. But for
I can't get it to work.
For the page, you just have to click on the title.
Yeah.
Do you want to share your screen, David? If that's okay, we can just walk through it.
One sec.
That'd be awesome.
Oh, I gotta allow my computer to do that. Hold up. Oh, so I can't. To do this, I will have to reopen it. So.
Oh, dang. Okay, so why don't you take a moment, do what you need to do, and we'll just let us know when you're ready.
Yeah, actually, could someone send the link to the call in the chat so that I can get back to it easily?
I will do that.
Amazing, Ashley. All right, so inside of each section, you add a page. And so what I really like is that if you go to class, each day that you go to class, you can create a page. And so this is an example of somebody's school notebook, their course on poetry, and in week 1, they're dealing with Shakespeare. And in week 2, it's Robert Frost, and in week 3, it's Maya Angelou. So this is just an example of you can create a page for each class. And you'll always know where to find them based on what week it was. So what's cool about week 1, and that's about Shakespeare, but here we have 3 different resources. During class, we'll be discussing several sonnets. You can add a page for each of the sonnets. And then create subpages for each poem during the lecture. So what you do to create a subpage is first you make it a page, and then you right click and send it to a subpage. It's an arrow that makes it a subpage. So Ashley, if you could show our friends how this works.
Okay. So I have workshops, and then if I wanted to do a new page, I could just do this, and then it makes it, well, it's not letting me click on it.
Yeah, you got to make a new page and call it something.
Okay, let me try again. Let me delete. Can I delete this? Yes.
Yes.
All right. So do I have to have something here first, or does it matter?
You can just add a page and you'll call it like workshop 1.
Oh, okay. But it won't be under this one, or did I?
No, you have to create the page first and then you put it.
Oh,
I know
okay,
it's weird. It's a little backwards, but.
And then
make a subpage. So you can see it's indented under your workshop.
Yes. Awesome. Yeah. That's really cool. I like that you can add pictures and stuff too. I noticed that on your presentation.
Yeah, there's so much we can do. I just want to make sure everybody's got the skeleton set up. David, you're back. Please share with us.
Yeah, hold up. I didn't stop that. Okay, yeah, so I can, so did you guys figure out how to do it?
Yes, can you share your share your screen with us and we'll walk you through?
Okay. One sec. There we go. It should work now.
Awesome.
How do I get this to go away?
Which this?
There. Okay. So I'm in here.
Yeah.
Right?
Beautiful. So title the page something like above the line where it says Friday, August 12th. Yeah.
Is that the? Oh, okay.
Yep.
Thank you. So what should I title that?
Oh, whatever you like. We're just
tutorial.
Test page, whatever.
Do homework.
Nice. And then you might add a page like at the bottom. And then you'll call it homework number 1.
Okay.
And then in that, awesome, you're doing so good. Now click on homework number 1 or right click on homework number 1 and you can make it a subpage. You have to make it first as a page and then there's that arrow. Boop. Yeah.
Awesome. Got it. Okay.
Yeah. Thanks for being a guinea pig. That's really awesome. Appreciate it.
How do I stop? Is that how you stop? Did I stop sharing it?
Yeah, you're good. You're good. All right. Here we go. Back to the slides. And we're going to resume where we were. Awesome. So now everybody's had some experience making a notebook and a section and a page. And in order to make a subpage, you have to make a page first, and then you can make a subpage. Give me a thumbs up if you are with me. Awesome. Ashley. Thank you.
I figured you meant in the chat too late.
Yeah. I'm getting a lot of them on the screen too, so that's awesome. Little floating hands. All right. So yeah, so you right click on a page to promote it or demote it. If you decide this is homework 4 and it needs to be a bigger deal, you can make a subpage into a regular page. Easy to do, it's a couple of clicks. But there are only 2 levels of pages, subpages. You can't go to a sub page, does not exist. All right. So one of the things that I love is that you can see all of those levels of navigation, right? So it's in my fall notebook in this class on this page. But sometimes if you go so many levels of organization, that doesn't leave you much room to write on. So you can click on that little, it looks like a bookshelf. It's a navigation button. If you click on that, it'll hide everything and just give you a white page to write on and do what you need to do, which is really handy. So I find that useful. Yeah. So the organization's still there, and if you need to see it, you just click on the button again. So all here, all gone. And I like that very much. And the last thing that you can do that I find really helpful, OneNote has a bunch of built-in tags to help you organize your notes. So you can choose from a tag like remember for later, or visit this website, or this is a big idea. And then you can search those tags. So in the online version, I think you can only use their default tags, but in your desktop version, you can make up your own. Like, this is good for Unit 1 test or something like that. You can make up your own tags. And that's helpful when you need to search your entire notebook or when you want to share it with someone else. All right, so guys, you have done some heavy work tonight. I am really proud of you. On the desktop version, you can make up your own. That's all that this slide says. And step number 7, what I love about this is if you click on the magnifying glass, which is the search tool and almost all of Microsoft stuff, you can search for any word or phrase or tag that you want. So if you're like, I know that I was talking to Sally about quadratics, but I can't find that note. You can just search for the word quadratics and then it'll show you every instance of that. It's kind of like the Control F for this application. All right. Now, dear friends, we have reached halftime. Whew. Please tell me which strategy you think is going to work best for you. Option A is a school notebook where every class is a section. Option B is a class notebook, like this is my math notebook, and sections are for each week. Or C, something original. I'd really like to know. David says
David
not A.
said no.
I understand.
I like B too.
Nice. Cool. We're getting pretty solid Bs. Okay, I like it. Got a 3.0. Yeah, I understand. A might be too much information in one notebook. But if Alyssa, if you love it, you do it, right? It's all about you. Cool. I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad to hear that you're picking a strategy. That's awesome. The thing that I wanted to say that Ashley has said several times is that you're going to try this system and it's going to be a little bit hard, but stick with it and it might work for you. I would say stick with this for a semester. It might not be your favorite thing, but like finish out a complete cycle and then think about switching to another tool or another method of organization. Because again, what works for your brain might not be what works for my brain, and that is fine. You got to find what works for you. All right, cool. Next question. What questions or concerns do you have right now about using OneNote? Any questions? Anything that's not clear?
David has his hand up.
Yeah, David, what you got? No, don't you dare give up.
Just kidding. So is there some way to sync the online version, I mean the web browser version to the app version?
I love it. So yes. So anything that you do online gets linked to your desktop version because everything's in OneNote. Everything that you do in the online app is saved to OneDrive. And so if you sign in with your credentials from Wake Tech on your phone, then you get the same notebook. If you sign in on your laptop with your Wake Tech credentials, you'll get to the same notebooks. So like Ashley was saying, oh crap, I don't have my laptop with me today. Well, at least I can look at this information on my phone. I will say that the phone app isn't as extensive as the laptop or desktop app, but you can always read from it. You may not be able to write and do as much in depth.
Yeah,
yes, Joseph, I'm so glad you asked me that. We're gonna get there. Go ahead, David.
Sync. It says that they're both synced, but they're not.
You may have to close and then reopen in order for it to sync.
I did that a few times already.
Oh, I have not experienced that. Did you sign all the way out? Like turn off the computer and everything?
Yeah, I could try and sign out.
Yeah. That might be, I've seen that happen before. It'll get hung up and be like, this is not updated. But I've only had that happen once in about 18 months. So.
Okay, let me see if that fixes it.
Rahil said, could you please put the information you just provided on OneNote, like the steps, in an email? Absolutely. Alexandria, yes, you can. Oh, you guys are, slow down, Turbo. You're going too fast. You are anticipating my next steps. It's awesome. Yes, you can download your whiteboard notes into OneNote. You can download websites into OneNote. You can download Excel files into OneNote. You can download your math web, like whatever it is, my stat lab or my math lab stuff into OneNote. You can put it all in there. And that's what I love, just having everything in one place.
That's a good question. Cameron has, will they lose everything once our Wake Tech email expires?
I don't know the answer to that. And, but I will definitely look at it and I'll ask around and I'll get back to you. The thing that I don't know, how long do you have after you graduate? When
I was about to say, sometimes you still have access to it.
Sometimes you still have, like, access. But the other thing that I'm going to suggest, not in my notes, this is completely off the cuff, but you should have an external hard drive that's like terabytes that you put everything onto, because things do happen, right? And you always want to have a backup somewhere. So if you have it on the cloud, if you have a copy on your local machine, and if you have a copy on your hard drive, 3 is the minimum number, I would say. Nice, Stephen, that's a good call. Yeah, absolutely. And a backup of your backup. Yes, absolutely. Anyone who has ever lost an important assignment, you only have to get burned once, and then you become kind of a, I don't know, a backup of a backup kind of person. All right, guys, we've got a couple more opportunities, a couple more cool things that OneNote can do, and we're off. Here we go. So there is a very specific OneNote web clipper. And you can download it as a Chrome extension or a Firefox extension or an Edge extension. It has one for all of them. And what's cool is that you can take basically the whole web page, or you can just highlight some of it, and it will, all you have to do is like click, and then it'll shook it up into a OneNote, and you can click on it again later and get to that website again. You don't have to copy the URL. You don't have to do anything. It's just, yep, I got you. And I find that really nice, especially if I'm looking for like YouTube videos about like practice problems for math. I can just say, this is all the stuff for quadratics, and I click on it with the clipper, and boom, is right there. So that's handy. You don't have to like take a screenshot or copy the URL. You just kind of click and it's done. And that's really nice. And dictation, yes. If it's on your phone, you can dictate just like autocorrect, right? Just like you say, where are you, question mark, right? The same thing happens in OneNote. You can dictate it. If you're using your phone, you just tap on the microphone. And if you're doing it on your laptop, you can insert an audio recording. So yes, dictating a note is really nice. Another thing you can do is add an audio recording. So it's just home, insert audio. So if you're in person and you want to capture what the professor is saying without the video, if you just want their vocals, you can do that using the microphone in your computer. And that's pretty nice too. Now, this does not do the autocorrect. It doesn't do the speech to text. All it is an audio recording. So I think you'd have to kind of experiment with what works best in a classroom, but it's another option to have. And this, you might be interested in this, Ashley. I don't know about the rest of you guys, but you can put basically any project into a OneNote and use an accessibility checker and make sure that it's aligned with ADA kind of rules about accessibility. And I think that's really useful for professors. I think it could take some of the cognitive load off of them and just help streamline that process. So that's
I love that. Cool.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
And as a math person, I got to tell you about using equations in OneNote. You can write your equation, type it in with just, the letters, and it'll make it look all mathy like this. Insert equation. There's another way. You could do insert equation and then design, and you get all the extra fancy math characters like integration and e to the x. This is really nice if you're trying to create like an example problem, or if you're trying to turn in a report on something. You can say, hey, math teacher, look at me. I did mathy things, and maybe earn some brownie points. And this one I love. You go insert equation and ink equation, and you can write it in like using your touch screen or using a little tablet or whatever. And then this little program is clever enough to take what's in the yellow box and make the thing that's on top. So if you don't want to take the time to have to put 2 + 9 times, right? If you can write it out and it'll translate it into type, which is pretty cool. In my opinion. And the last thing, this is what has like revolutionized my practice as a tutor, is that you can share those notes. So when someone comes to me for help with their calculus class, I will work a couple problems and then I can send it to them, and they'll have access to that OneNote page. You can share your whole notebook. You can share just that section. You can even share just that page. You can be selective about what you're sharing with the people that you want. You can send them a link, and you can share it anywhere, like in messages on your phone, if you want to send somebody a link to a page that you've got. And again, you can copy the links to just this page or to the section or to the notebook, which is really handy. So my notebook that had all of my students in it, like each student had a section, I could just share, hey, here are my notes from today. You don't get to see anybody else's notes from anything else inside of my notebook, which is handy, in my opinion. You want people to have access to their stuff, but not somebody else's stuff. The last thing I'm going to say, and you heard Ashley say this as well, is you've got to stick with it, right? Anytime you're learning a new program, there's going to be some bumps along the way, but I think OneNote is worth it. Keeps everything in one place. You can access it online or on your phone, and you can share it with people who don't even have OneNote, right? You can send it to them via text message or email or whatever, and they'll at least be able to read that note. So the real lesson here from this whole session is that it doesn't matter what app you use to stay organized. Just pick one and stick with it and see if it's going to work for you. And again, I'm going to say minimum time is a semester.
That's a good tip.
Yeah. Any other questions, friends? Concerns? Anything you'd like to ask about OneNote? Again, I am not an expert, but I've been doing it for a year and I found it really useful. All right. I want to talk to you about my favorite way to use OneNote, and it has to do with drawing on the document. So I'm gonna share with you a different doc, and this, here we go. Can you see what I'm seeing? It says, hello and welcome, how can I help? All right, so I have a little external tablet with this pen, and now I'm gonna write with pink. So this was on Friday, July 22nd, and it was a drop-in session. It was available for any student in Math 171. So they would take a picture of a problem and send it to me in Teams, and then I could copy and paste it here and then work out the math. Cool. What I love about this is that if there's something we have to be really careful about, I can make an attention mark. I can do math on the side. Yep. And so in this way, they can see me do the work, but then I can just send them a link to the page and they've got it for their records. I have found this super useful. Yeah. So this is Math 171. Yep. This is a system of linear equations, and math is my favorite thing, so this just makes me happy. But is there anything that you guys, and again, the way that I do this is, here I am. You can see I'm in 2022, Math 171 drop-ins, and this was a certain date, right? And so we hide that, and then we can look at this. And then up here on the right, you have the share. And you can pick a person, copy their link, and send a copy of the page if you want. You don't have to send them the original. So, like I said, I have loved using this, and I hope you give it a shot. All right, friends. What questions do you have? Yes, you're right, Nathan. It is. It's pre-calculus algebra. You're right. Yeah. Yes, thank you so much for coming out on a Friday night.
Yes, thank you. We really appreciate it. I've learned a lot of stuff, Sarah.
Oh, cool, David. Then maybe you'll give it a shot.
Yeah.
And let us put in a plug for the ILC, because It is totally free. Like, you should come hang out with a person, one person who knows this math stuff with you as an individual. And they'll meet you where you are and help you get where you want to be. That's the whole gig. Yeah.
Yes. And we're online every day, but also you can go on campus. So we're really flexible. We're open until 9 p.m. every day. So it's very flexible. So please use our services. We're here to help you.
So Ashley is online and I am online, but there are amazing tutors in person on every campus.
Yes.
Yeah. And again, if online works better for your schedule, we're here for you. I think the whole point is that we want to meet you where you need us.
Yes. So I was speaking about Gretchen, I was speaking about online specifically. You'd have to go to different campuses to look at their times, but I believe North, we ended around 7.
Yeah. So if you go to ilc.waketech.edu, I did not do the HTTP, I am sorry. But if you type that into your URL, it'll get you a menu of what appointments are available at what times. Oh, look at you doing stuff. All right, dear ones. If you have further questions, we will be here. But if you need to get on with your Friday night, peace out.
But you want to stop recording?
Yes. I'll do it.
Is anyone going to the Southern campus? I know that Southern campus